Hi guys, so this will be the Essay 4 video prompt here, the prompt explanation. So what I wanted to do is start off on Blackboard here, and just a quick note, please do watch this video all the way to the end. There's a lot of information here, both on the essay prompt and on the research outline. Okay, so do watch this whole video. Alright, so I'm in the Wednesday 8-2 folder. So if we click on the Essay 4 Materials folder here, you'll see the prompt, and then the prompt video will be underneath. And then this is your library video demonstration. Make sure you watch that because this paper will require you to do some research. And then you notice here there's two options for your outline. There's going to be two essay prompts options, so depending on which prompt option you choose, that is the option you choose for your outline. And then the works cited and the essay checklist. Okay, so let's get started with the prompt. Okay, so the research outline will be due Wednesday, August 9th, and the final draft of the paper will be due Sunday, August 13th, the last day of our class. So this means because it is the last day of our class, you cannot submit Essay 4 late. Okay, you have to submit your paper on time. So for this paper, for our final paper, you have two options. Choose one of the following projects. Option 1. And so just so you know how I formatted this here, this is all option 1 here, what I've highlighted, and then there's a line, and then underneath I have option 2. So option 1 ends at the line. Okay. So if you choose option 1, you will write a formal, traditional 8 to 12 page argumentative research paper about education. You must use at least 3 of our unit's readings and at least 5 sources found on the Saddleback College Library website. See the library research demo video on Blackboard. For a minimum of 8 sources, your paper must also include at least one counterargument, which is an argument that opposes your thesis with a rebuttal. You will choose one of the following research questions. Okay, so I'll pause here. So you must have a total of 8 minimum sources, and you need 3 minimum from our class and 5 minimum from on the library website. But this means that you can have 10, you can have 20 sources, right? Just as long as you have 3 minimum from our class and 5 minimum from the Saddleback Library website. All right, and again, if you go into the Essay 4 Materials folder in the 8-2, you will find a video on how to conduct research, okay? So, and also you need to have one counter-argument with a rebuttal. So if you recall, actually all the way back in Unit 2, okay, 712 folder, there is, this will load here, the argumentation lecture. So when you click on it, it opens in a new tab, okay? And so I would strongly recommend watching this video again. Towards the middle endish of the video, I do go into counterarguments and rebuttals, okay? So that will be really important for you, especially for option 1, okay? So the questions for the traditional research paper for option 1, what is the purpose of a college education? Should everyone have equal access to education? What do students gain or lose from getting an education? Does it matter what a student gets their degree in? What degrees are the most useful and to the country's success? What is the value of a humanities degree? Is the prioritization of STEM fields in the U.S. legitimate? Or you can create your own, but you must email me for approval by Sunday, August 6th, so that I can approve your research question, okay? So you will answer one of these questions in an 8 to 12 page argumentative research paper using at least 3 of our unit's readings and at least 5 sources from the library website, and also a counter-argument and a rebuttal. Okay, and at the very bottom of the prompt here, I've listed out the text, and notice Malala is a choice, so you can use Malala as one of your 3 in-class articles. So you choose 3 from this list and then find 5 additional sources from the library website. Okay, and so if you choose option 1, if we go back to our 8-2 folder, so our 8-2 folder, and we click on the Essay 4 Materials, okay, I mentioned earlier there's 2 options for the outline, okay? So if you choose the traditional research paper option 1 for the prompt, then you need to click on this outline template here, and it will open like this, okay? And this should look pretty familiar because we've been using this for our other two essays so far, our other two argumentation papers. But now notice here I've included the counter-argument element. And of course, 3 body paragraphs is not going to be enough for an 8 to 12 page paper, so you'll just have to copy and paste the format of this outline in order to get to the page length that you'll need, okay? But your intro should have the thesis of your paper. Then you'll have topic sentences, which are all reasons to support your thesis, and then you'll include evidence and analysis of that evidence. So for the outlines, you do actually need to provide your quotes that you're going to use. And then the counter-argument. Okay, so one or multiple arguments that the opposing side would argue against your thesis, and then your refutation of that counter-argument. And the minimum is 1 counter-argument, but you could have multiple counter-arguments in your paper if you'd like to. So when you're ready to submit the outline, it will be in the 8-9 folder, in the Unit 4 folder. Okay, 8-9. Submit research outline here. Okay, so regardless of which option you choose, this is where you're going to submit your outline. Okay, and that is basically option 1. Okay, so now I want to go to option 2. So I'm really excited about this one, which is why I am offering 20 points extra credit to anyone who chooses this option. Okay, so option 2 will be a dialogue essay. Okay, so I'm just going to read through it here. If you choose option 2, you will use a variety of sources to show a spectrum of perspectives on your education topic. It will take the form of an 8 to 12 page debate, which will look somewhat like a screenplay. The challenge will be to offer coherent arguments by characters who represent not just differing points of view, but also different styles of argumentation arising from their varied backgrounds, educational background, cultural and ethnic differences, and personal experience. The intro will consist of a description of your characters, their positions on the given issue, and background information needed to help your intelligent, naive reader to understand your topic. Most of the explanation can be included in the context of the discussion. Assume your audience is educated but isn't necessarily knowledgeable about the subject. Also assume that they are very sensitive to bias. They shouldn't see yours even if you personally have strong feelings about it. You can choose the setting, but it usually is helpful to think in terms of a venue that encourages high-level discourse. Feel free to be as creative as you would like, as long as you think PBS level discussion, not Jerry Springer. The more you can envision the personalities of your characters, the better your choice of rhetorical strategies can be. The context of this debate should encourage the most intelligent arguments possible. Your characters will be fictional, but can be based on actual people. While they should be representational of certain groups and belief systems, they must not be stereotypes. They should be people whom you would be willing to listen to, even if you vehemently disagreed with their particular point of view. If the person has an unpopular viewpoint, you might want to contrast it with an especially appealing personality or intriguing life situation. Each should bring something unique to the discussion. You will write as though they are speaking to each other, and your sources will be part of that speech. Each quote or paraphrase, of course, must be documented in MLA to avoid plagiarism. It can be difficult to distance yourself from your own words. Some people feel very awkward making a strong argument for something they do not believe, but this is an excellent way to train yourself to think critically and be able to articulate others' points of view honestly and fairly. And so this is a really good way to really capstone our course on the danger of a single story. The debate itself will be in script form with speakers asking and answering questions. Characters will address one another's points and then go on to bring up new arguments. Make sure that the debate is not just a series of monologues, but is a real conversation. Normally there will be 3 to 5 speakers per page. More than that means you might be lacking in your use of sources, and fewer would sound more like speeches than debate. Speakers will quote or paraphrase their sources as though they are stating their own ideas. Your 8 sources, remember 3 from our unit and 5 from the library, need to include journals, transcripts, interviews, discussions, stories, books, etc. The personality of the individual character will dictate what kind of source he or she might use. Again, each side should be so persuasive that the reader won't know your bias. In the conclusion, you can enlighten your audience as to your true beliefs. Talk about why you believe what you do and how your views might have changed as you did your research and formulated your arguments. Students may create a context which inspires them and which encourages strong argumentation. There is often a tendency to demonize those with whom the writer personally disagrees, even though most students claim to be tolerant of others' beliefs. This assignment will help students practice how to be able to articulate other sides, a step toward respecting those who hold the opinions. Okay, so again, the danger of a single story here. The theme here is really utilized in this option. And the potential topics for the dialogue essay are the exact same as option 1. It's just you're writing about it in a different way. Okay, so again, you can read through them. They're the same again as option 1. You can create your own topic. Just make sure to email me by Sunday, August 6th to get your approval. Okay, so with option 2, you're essentially creating a screenplay where the characters are talking to each other about your chosen topic, and they are using the research and the in-class sources as their evidence in the play. And again, this is more difficult for some people, especially, well, yeah, this can be seen as the more difficult option, but you do get 20 extra credit points just for simply attempting it, okay? So even before you even write one word on the page, you have 20 points towards your final paper. So do consider this option. I think these can be really fun. So that is the prompt for option 2. I do want to show you now the outline for option 2. And it's basically just a starter outline because everyone's outline for this is going to be so different. So notice here, option 2, dialogue essay, you would click on that, okay, and it opens like this. So please note here, the brief outline here is simply to help you visualize the structure of this paper. Students are encouraged to use the best structure that works for their specific topic. Outlines will vary depending on number of characters and subpoints covered in the paper. Okay, so in the intro, you need a description of your characters and their positions on the given issue, the background info needed to help your intelligent, naive reader to understand your topic. And then the body of the essay, this is where it will vary. But what I've done here, so character 1 brings up the first point in your discussion. So make sure you provide their name. Okay, Fred, and then they start talking about the first point in the discussion. And Fred, I just made that name up, but Fred has evidence and advances the conversation so that the next character responds. Okay, so then you say Jody responds to the first point in the discussion. And maybe you have multiple other characters who are also responding to that first point. And then you can have a character who brings up a second point, right? So think about like a live class discussion going on, and you're trying to capture everyone's thoughts and evidence on paper. Okay, so that is kind of how you can visualize this paper. Again, the structure will greatly vary depending on your topic, depending on your approach, how many characters you have. This is definitely a way for you guys to stretch your creative minds and really utilize the danger of the single story theme here. And so as a reward, again, I will give you 20 points just for even trying this. So that is essentially essay 4. So happy writing. Let me know if you guys have any questions.